All right, what's up? So it's Ryan here, and basically what I'm going to be doing is I pretty much spent most of last week just doing a whole bunch of writing and looking at basic stuff and relearning that, and it's been a little while since I've had the time to just sit down and work on my own projects. So that's what I'll be doing in this session here. So like with my other sessions like this is not my regular Q&A, so I may answer questions, I may not. Really what this is about is me just showing you what it is like to code applications, Android applications specifically. So if that's something that interests you, you might enjoy this. And if you're looking for sort of a more dedicated Q&A time, I do have a regular Q&A which runs at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Standard Time, or whatever PDT stands for, which is GMT -7. And I'm a little bit tired, so I'm not going to be doing probably as much talking as I normally would. But let's get in and write some code. Also, the repository that I'll be working on is available just down in the description box below, and it is open source if you'd like to have a look at it, steal it, modify it, whatever. Here we go. I'll also be monitoring the chat somewhat, but pretty much on my phone. Let me just pull that up and then we'll get started here. Oh, just give me the friggin' link. Ah, you know what, screw it. I'm not even gonna use the phone to monitor chat, I'll just use this thing. Okay, here we go. So, priority number 1, I'm just gonna write out some, let me just fix this here. So, to do for today. So, number 1, get all well-formed unit tests passing, wire together. Well, that's basically, yeah, I mean, that's basically the main goal for today. Is I'm going to be writing and fixing a whole bunch of unit tests. And what I did prior, so basically, I've got this one test suite running properly. As you can see here, I'll run it. And so what that required is all of these tests that I'd written, these were actually passing fine before, but what I've done is I've actually refactored this project a fair amount. So that instead of using, where's a good example? Instead of using, well, my old architecture, I'm using sort of a clean style architecture. And really what that entails is in my unit tests and all that crap, I'm basically dealing with these use cases or interactors, they might be called, and testing based on those things. So while that hasn't really made my tests more complex or anything like that, in fact, I think it's actually, in all likelihood, made them less complex to write. It has changed the structure of my architecture, and so that's basically what I'm doing now, is fixing that in the tests. So what's up? We've got a couple people. We've got Vincent and Emmanuel. Thank you for joining me. All right. So as I said, I've got the reminder detail presenter test running. I managed to get that far last week. So I'll move over to reminder list presenter and we'll see what we can do here. Okay. So let's go through these tests and see what we can see. So a lot of them are passing. If I recall correctly, where I got stumped last time was this test here. So I'm going to try and figure out what the deal is with it. So what I was dealing with is I'm getting this message. It's saying null pointer exception. in onReminder toggled, and it's giving me the exact line in the presenter where the error is occurring. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. And it's telling me, so this is one of the things that's a little bit interesting. It can be difficult to decipher error messages sometimes. So it's saying that the null pointer exception is at 122. However, I'm not actually sure. I don't know if that's really the case. I think it's quite likely that it's throwing a null pointer exception elsewhere, just with these these chained method calls. In my past experience, when it throws a null pointer, see, this is like an RxJava thing, and in my past experience, when it throws a null pointer exception on the line directly following the call to my use case, it's generally, I don't think it's actually the scheduler provider that's the issue. I think it's something else, but we're going to kind of figure that out now. So the first thing I want to look at is, let's look at this method in the test and just make sure that the test itself is well formed, because we need to figure out what is null. So I'll do that first. If the answer isn't obvious, then I'll use the debugger next to try and figure out what the issue is. So let's hop over to reminder list presenter test. All right, so this is the test that we're running. Now, it's got a really long and obnoxious name, and the reason why it has such a long and obnoxious name is that this is a pretty complicated test. Basically, when this test runs, it has to do with when it has to do with just making sure that the view is consistent with the database or the state and just different things like that. So it's some fairly complicated tests going on. So let's just have a quick look here. So onReminder toggled states different deactivate. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a comment because it's even a little bit confusing to me. So when a reminder is toggled and the state of the view is the state of the view versus the how could I word this? The state of the view versus what. How can I word that? That's an interesting thing. I suspect a lot of the issue is because it's a fairly ambiguous thing that I'm trying to figure out here. Basically, so yeah, this is the main explanation here. That I should actually I should almost copy this comment and paste it into the test itself. That would be helpful. So basically what happens, I should almost get a demo running of this thing. I know it's going to lag the shit out of my computer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an emulator running. It's going to lag for a bit, but I would, well, actually no, let's just open a layout. So that would be item reminder, item alarm widget. I should rename that to item reminder widget. So basically, the thing that's going on is how this thing works, I should say. So I've got this thing which is like a reminder here. So it's got just the name of a reminder. So this might say coffee break or something. It's got a time. It's got this toggle down here, this switch. And that's really the thing that we're testing. So when the user presses this switch, what's supposed to happen is what happens is that this method gets fired on reminder toggled. So obviously that I think that's a fairly straightforward thing. Now, what I was dealing with is situations where the user presses the toggle and for some reason let's say for example the user presses, let's say the user toggles an alarm off. The user wants to cancel an alarm. So if the alarm gets toggled off, then this would come in as false. If the reminder, where does it get the reminder from? I'm confused by my own code, which is never a good sign. Okay, so it would be, where's the toggle? Am I in the wrong thing? Nope. No, it would be in the adapter. I should know that. I did a whole tutorial series on adapters, so I should probably know that. And then it'll be down here. I think the issue I was trying to solve was situations like, let's say the user taps this toggle button rapidly or several times in quick succession. I think what I was trying to deal with is situations like that, and the way that I was going about dealing with that is to compare the state, which is from reminders.get. Now, is reminders something that exists? See, this is kind of I think one of the main issues here is that I'm almost breaking my own rules a little bit, because this fragment is holding on to its own state, which is a list of reminders. So in essence, it's kind of got its own view model. And what I'm trying to, I don't know, that's a really tough one to kind of think of, but whatever, we'll just kind of move on. But just the important thing to note here is I'm trying to deal with situations where the state of the view may be inconsistent with the state of the data or the state itself. And that's kind of what I was trying to deal with. But I think what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to take one last look at this method. So on reminder toggled states differ, deactivate. So what this means is when the reminders toggle and the states are different, but we want to deactivate it. The desired outcome is a deactivated alarm. So in this case, the view says false. And then, but this reminder itself is active, if I'm not mistaken. The test reminder that I pass in, it bloody well better be active. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I give it an active reminder. Wait a minute. Oh, is that the issue? Okay, whatever. Okay, so I give it an active reminder and I pass in false. So let's look at let's debug this, because I hopefully that'll give some more explanation into the issue itself. Just checking comments. What's up? Got Daryl and Vegito. I'm kind of tired, so we'll see how far I get today, but I just wanted to get some unit testing, clean architecture stuff done today. All right. So right off the bat, of course, active is false, which is supposed to be the case, right? Yep, so I call false and I pass in an active reminder, and the end result is that both the view should become consistent with the state of the reminder, which is written to the database, and also the reminder should be written to the database with the appropriate alarm state, either active or deactive. Oh, this guy's been pissing me off for a while now. Oh, he flew away. Sorry. I have I have these birds that keep landing outside of my... let me just give you a quick glimpse of my wonderful view, which actually is kind of a nice view, but I keep having birds landing out here and pissing me off. Anyways, that's what it looks like in June in west coast of BC. Anyways, sorry, absolute tangent. All right, so let's kind of look through this. So all right, so we hop in. So we check if, so active. So if active does not equal the state of the reminder, so if this is active, but the reminder is inactive, it'll pass. Or if this is false, inactive, and the reminder is active, it will pass and it will set it to the appropriate desired state. The important thing to note is that this is basically the desired state. And then we set it. So reminder is not null. Is there anything in here which is very obviously null is my main question. Doesn't look like it. It's got its mocked service. So this is roughly where the null pointer exception is going to occur. It says that the null pointer exception is occurring on this line here, but I'm not really convinced that the issue is a null scheduler provider, that because the other tests wouldn't. The thing is, I have some of these tests passing, and if the scheduler provider was actually null, it's an isolated error is kind of what I'm trying to say. Reminder list. Where's the thing? Reminder list presenter. So let's step into. All right, so this is our use case or our interactor. So it's making it this far. And then it's calling reminder service.update reminder. And again, reminder service is a mock. Okay, have I mocked this method with the appropriate reminder? That'd be my next question. I don't know why. Okay. Differ deactivate. So this is the one I want. This is the one I'm testing. So I am mocking update reminder. Is this thing supposed to return something? Where is the null coming from? That's what I don't understand. Why is there a null pointer exception? Okay. All right, so this is the line that it says the error is occurring on. So I know for certain now the provider is not the issue. It very clearly is set up properly. So what happens? I don't think I'll learn anything by stepping into it, but let's try because this is apparently where the error is occurring. Yeah, and it's just getting me the schedulers.trampoline, which works with every other friggin' unit test, so that shouldn't be the issue. And here's the null. Why null? What was null? I didn't set up yeah, I did set up the scheduler in the app before. Daryl's helping me out here, which I do very much need help at the moment. So this is going to... So as per the contract, let's open this up. So let's go reminder source. As per the contract, it's calling update reminder, and all it's required to return is an observable. I can stop that debugger now. Stop debugging. Just stop. You know, this is one funny little thing about Android Studio that I don't really understand. Like, okay. It's got this nice glowing red button that I can press that doesn't actually stop the thing that I'd like to stop. But anyways. All right, let's go back to the test here. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up the mock to return observable.empty. And if I'm not mistaken, and this could be kind of where the issue is coming from, but I'm calling observable.empty, and as far as I'm aware, that should just call... Where's the thing? That should call onComplete. I don't actually want to call onNext in this particular method. And you might be thinking to yourself, Ryan, why aren't you using RxJava 2's completable for this? And the reason for that has to do with the abstraction of my use cases. So there is actually a reason why I'm not using completable and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. The thing I'm just not understanding, where the hell is the null? What is null? The scheduler's not null. I know that for a fact. The use case isn't null. The reminder's not null. One thing I'm doing differently is I'm not adding it to... Yeah, I don't know if that would really fix anything. The observer that the method returns. Update or... Oops, sorry. Update or create reminder use case. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, it should just be saying, it should just be returning an empty observable as per what I've set up in the test right here. I wonder if it has to do with let me just try and rewrite this a little bit. So let's say, I'm gonna say reminder. I'm not sure if this is actually gonna help at all, but just let me work. Reminder equals active reminder, but I want to, I forget, how do you copy an object in Java? Because I don't want to just assign it to the memory location. I want to actually create a new copy of the object. Now I gotta look that up. One moment. All right. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even gonna. What I'm gonna do is let's just create. I'm gonna create a whole new reminder. Let's say reminder equals new reminder. I'm really starting to think this is the issue here, and then let's say yeah. And then of course I'm gonna just copy this. So I want an active reminder at the start. Let's not deal with the static stuff for a minute here. Let's try and just create a local variable. Okay, reminder, and let's use that. Let's pass that in here. How is that different? No, that might be different. Okay, that might... All right, so we're calling the method, yeah. When does alarm service get called? I'm not even getting to alarm service just for my own sanity's sake here, right? On alarm set. Yeah, that's the next issue that we'll deal with. So let's start with that and just see. All I want to know at this point is, did that make any progress whatsoever? Okay, yep. Yeah, it is oh, okay, that was probably the issue. I was setting up my mocks with some static test data, and I think that was somehow tripping it up. I don't know exactly how, but the way I was setting up my mocks was apparently not working super great. So that's kind of a learning lesson here. So I'm actually going to make a big note about that. And we're going to say one for the error log, yeah. By using different test objects to set up my when/then return clauses, a NPE was being thrown in a strange spot. All right, so what all I'm really doing there is I'm saying, okay, this is something that is obviously a major fuck up, excuse my language, so I'm going to take note of it. And then so I'm going to have to basically do the same thing with set alarm. So I think I can just say that. And assuming, let's start with that. I don't know if I've actually implemented it, is the thing. No, but that's okay. We have made progress. The thing is, it's no longer crashing on the same spot, and that's the important thing. So let's jump back into the presenter. All right, so what we do, so what should be happening, I am going to test this now, is I want to know is, so let's see. In this particular test, what are we doing? We are activating it, we're deactivating it. So therefore, I want to see this method called, which is onAlarm canceled. So after the reminder gets written to the reminder database, I want to tell the system alarm service, hey, deactivate this alarm, cancel this alarm. So let's rerun the debugger and see if that helps us out. And it does appear to be calling that, so that's friggin' awesome. All right, we're back on track now. So let's jump into onAlarm canceled. So in this case, we're saying cancel alarm, and it was 186 that this thing was crashing on. Alarm deactivated. And again, I'm looking to just call why would cancel alarm be returning a list of reminders? That really doesn't look like right. Let's open up cancel alarm. Yeah, that's not right. This should be what should it be? Looks like I had some, I've got some copy and paste I got to clean up. This is the problem with copy and pasting stuff in willy-nilly is you give yourself errors like this. So that's just going to be object. That's just going to be that. That I don't even know if that's probably not going to get called. Let's do the same thing up here. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Cool. So let's try that now. Let's see if that runs. For anyone watching this that happens to be a beginner, I'd just like to take a moment to stress the fact that what I'm doing right now is this thing called test-driven development, and it's really useful because it allows you to look at very complicated problems with a very sort of systematic approach to solving the issue. So I've personally found that as the complexity of an application grows, test-driven development becomes both more and more necessary and more useful. Of course, you don't need to deal with this crap when you're writing a Hello World application, but when you're dealing with this stuff, it really helps to have these tests to kind of rely on to make your code true. Okay. So we're getting an NP again. And is setAlarm what we're actually calling in there? That's my next question. So that's in cancel alarm. No, that's a little weird. So I think I'm calling the wrong use case or something. setAlarm. I'm calling cancel alarm. So let's go to alarm service. I think there's some inconsistencies here. So we've got set alarm. Yeah, that should be cancel alarm that it's calling. So I think what's going on here is I just have mocked the wrong method. This should be, I believe, cancel alarm, and let's see if that fixes the test. Oh, no, I don't want to debug it. Stop. What are you doing? Stop. Just run it. Boom! Test pass. That's how you solve problems in code with unit tests, bitches. I'm sorry, that was horrible. Anyways, let's carry on. All right, cool. So I have proven to myself that I have conquered these annoying frigging issues that have plagued me for 2 weeks. Well, yeah, these very specific examples. There will be lots more annoying little things that trip me up, but let's carry on and keep this momentum going. And I'm just going to run a quick commercial break and look at some comments. Well, that's how we do here. All right, let's get back into it. Let's make these tests run. You know, it's just as a really quick aside, one of the difficulties with what I've been doing lately is because I don't have time to make a lot of pre-recorded, well-edited videos, I kind of just have to do live stuff when I feel like it. And one of the main difficulties with it, like, it's nice because I set my expectations very low for the live content. It is what it is. But one of the frustrating things is that every now and again I do capture something like that live, but I never know if I'm going to actually solve the problem live or in a reasonable amount of time, or I'm gonna do what I did yesterday, which was like absolutely fail at learning Kotlin for the first time ever because unfortunately, let's just say the documentation was not working very well for me, which is partly my problem. I mean, yeah. Anyways, let's carry on. All right. So that test is done. Let's fix this stuff up. And then I'm just going to copy this, slap it in here, except we're going to say false. And this will say set alarm. And then we'll pass in reminder. And not sure if that's all I need to do, but let's just run it and find out. Nope. Okay, but this is a much easier thing to deal with. All right, so let me zoom way the hell in. So it's saying, why is this such an issue with Windows 10? Just, I don't understand why it's so hard to like, anyway, sorry. All right, so what it's saying is we wanted to see this called once, but it was called twice. And by it, I mean onComplete? No, view.maketoast. So it called view.maketoast twice is what it's telling me. Now, I don't know if that's actually an issue. So I want to see message alarm activated. So let's go into the presenter. Excuse me. All right, so I do want to see it say, what are we doing here? What am I actually testing? So I'm testing, excuse me. So we're saying on reminder toggled states differ activate. So we are calling all the same stuff, except we're jumping to on alarm set instead. Yeah. So it's going to head to on alarm set. And it's going to say message alarm activated. Yeah. Am I calling the right use case? Set alarm? Yep. Let's look at set alarm. Yeah, that is the thing that it's calling. Okay. And I'm just going to rerun this unit test. Okay, so what was the issue again? Let's try this again. Okay. Unfortunately, the difficulty here is that as the day progresses, I have a harder and harder time keeping my train of thought. So it's basically, it's telling me that onComplete was called twice, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would that be called twice? On reminder toggled. We're calling update reminder. That's fine. That's not an issue. We're calling set alarm. No, that, I don't even know if that can be right. I'm almost thinking that onComplete is a terminal. Is that not a terminal event? That's very confusing. Oh, well, for starters, I'm looking at the wrong method. That's the thing. Cancel alarm. Oh! Oh, this is the issue. I'm showing that, yeah, this is, okay, so this is just a fucking dumb error, pardon my language. Like, why the hell does it just... Yeah, I bet that's the issue. I don't even know why that's there. I must have been really tired last time I was working on this project, because there's a lot of just little stupid errors. Yeah, that was the issue. Just one random useless line of code. Okay. Hey, we're making progress. I'll take it. Let's work on this. So what are we doing now? So this test is called on new reminder created successfully. All right, so this is when we create a new reminder. Excuse me. So we say presenter.onCreateReminder button click, blah, blah, blah. And we're passing this stuff in. I now need to be concerned about the fact that I might need to be creating all of these test objects correctly. If their state changes, I think that's the issue. If the state of the test objects differs, then I can't compare two different static test objects that, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, focus, Ryan, focus. Just give me 1 minute to refocus my brain. What I'll do is just to take my mind off the thing at hand, I've got a quick question by uh, Mr. Sharma, I will call you. You're asking if constraint layout is safe to use. It is very safe. In fact, it's here's the only thing I would say to you. As a general rule, for using constraint layout, you'll usually want constraint layout to be the top level layout. You don't. I don't think you want to nest a lot of constraint layouts, and it should be almost just common sense. Why? Well, maybe not, but yeah, just be aware that you don't want to use constraint layout for everything, but pretty much anytime you need to arrange the top level layout for whatever, that's like the most primary use case. And when I say top level layout, let me see if I've even implemented it. Is this a constraint layout? I don't know. No, that's a relative layout. I see it. You can see I've been working on this project gradually, and you can see I have this note in here. Consider converting this to a constraint layout, which is exactly what I mean. What I mean is like the top, when I say top level layout, I really specifically mean this. I think, let's maybe... Yeah, so here's an example. So this is the, and I've already contradicted myself, but yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. Just don't, I don't know, I'm just going to shut up now. Yeah. Just don't nest a ton of constraint layouts. If you do something like this, it's not necessarily going to break your app, but just like when using linear layouts, there comes a point where you're sort of, it's probably not the same as constraint layouts, but at least with linear layouts, the big issue with nesting them is that it becomes an exponentially increasing number of calculations to calculate the dimensions of views and stuff like that. So just use it wisely, but absolutely start using constraint layout because it's really awesome. Anyways, back to, as Eminem would say, snap back to reality. That was a fun little fail at explaining something. That's wise ass for you. I'm not always on the ball. All right. I am with unit testing today though, so I'm happy about that. I'll just give myself a little credit for that today because I didn't even know if I was gonna figure out this this problem here because I've been working on this thing for not working on it all the time. I've been trying to solve this with the odd hour or two I get per week to work on this thing, but anyways. So let's run this one and see what's going on. And once again, we've got an NPE, and I'm just going to take a wild guess that this is happening in the subscribe on call. And surprise, surprise, it's happening on the subscribe on call. So probably what the issue is exactly the same issue as before. So let's see if we can fix that. So I'm going to, once again, just copy this. Okay. All right, let's look at how this code works. So over in the presenter, what are we calling? On create reminder button click. Here we go. This is the method we're testing. So the first thing is it gets passed in the current number of reminders, and the reason why is we only want to allow 5 reminders at a time. That's a pretty arbitrary thing, but yeah, I only want 5 reminders at a time. We also pass in this default name, which is just like the name that a new reminder will get created on. And it'll also get passed in a reminder ID. The reminder ID is simply a unique identifier, a unique key, which is generated, I believe, based on the date, time, and seconds and minutes that the button was pressed. So the important thing, I think, so the thing I need to keep in mind here is that we're yeah, once again, this is going to be an interesting one. So instead of saying default name, I'm going to pass in, why is there default name and title? That seems kind of ambiguous. I'm going to delete title. What do these use? No, let's delete default name. And just use title for consistency's sake, if nothing else. Great, autocomplete helping me out here. There we go. Okay. Now, so the big issue is that it's not necessarily going to be called with active reminder. And I think that is the key issue that I keep dealing with. Okay, whatever, yeah, title. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the issue. How can I solve this? This is annoying, because the thing is, I could solve this by just creating the view model in the fragment. It's just I don't really like doing that, but maybe I kind of just should in this case. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I don't see how else I can really write the unit test without doing that. I might come to regret that decision later, but I'm just gonna roll with it right now. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna open up the contract here. So that'll be reminder list presenter contract. Reminder list contract, rather. I was about to lose my shit for a second that the autocorrect wasn't helping me again, but it was totally my fault this time, so that's all right. And instead of passing in reminder default name and reminder ID, I'm actually going to pass in a view model, which irritates me a little bit, but I'll lose a bit of sleep over it. I'll get a little upset, but let's just go ahead and build the friggin' view model in the thing. So we're just going to say reminder. And I'll kind of explain what I'm thinking in a moment here and why I'm thinking it. So we're in here, we're going to say new let's just say new reminder. What did I have before? Get date. And what else? Oh, just a string? Okay, let's say new reminder. Go away, stupid tooltip. Okay, get date for the why don't I just copy this shit? I do apologize if you're the type of person who is offended by swearing. Unfortunately, I'm tired and I work in a kitchen, so there's going to be a lot of random swearing. If that upsets you, you are free to stop watching. So yeah, let's just say, let's get rid of that. So new reminder. And then instead of saying reminder ID, we'll say get string, get default reminder name. Let's do that for default name. Then for reminder ID, we will call get date. Okay. Just straighten this out a little bit. Why is it showing up as red still? Am I missing a parameter? No, that doesn't belong there. There we go. Okay, let's just clean that up a little. Okay, so what we're doing now is I'm actually creating the reminder. I've moved the creation of the view model outside of the presenter and into the view itself. I'm not always happy to do that, but in this case, I think that's likely a better solution. We'll see. And then, of course, I need to fix this so that it actually receives just a reminder. So let's say, yeah, reminder. I'm still going to check. Yeah, I'm still totally going to check that, but yeah, okay. So that's kind of fixed things up a little bit. Let's go back to the test and refactor the test. So instead of that, so I need to, first things first, I need to mock the view model. So it's going to say to the view, no, I don't. I just need to pass this in here. Okay. And then it should call it with that. And then I think this test will pass now, but we'll see in a moment. I'll just refactor this one while I'm here. Okay, so let's rerun this and see if that works. Okay. I thought I just, no, that was another one. I doubt those are going to pass anyway, but okay, let's try and run the thing for the 50th time here. Okay, so we're still failing. Get reminders? All right, so I'm calling, what happens here? Let's look at this. All right, so we run the use case. We update the reminder. So we update the database. We say to the reminder database, create this record. Once that completes, then we say to the, we call a new function, a new use case. So we hop over to get reminders, which is way up here. And then we say get reminder list dot run use case. So what I need to do here is, of course, I need to mock the method which will be called by that use case. So then that's going to be so that's going to be reminder service dot get reminders. which does not have a parameter. And that's going to, what should I return? I think I'll just say observable.just new. I don't have a test list created, do I? No, okay. Where's the place I was just at? There we go. All right, so I'm going to create a list, just a test list here. So array list of type. Oh, we can just say list. List of type reminder. Reminder equals new array list. I'll just add a test reminder. It doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter what's in this list. I just want to return a list with a reminder in it. So we can say active reminder. No, we'll say inactive reminder because that makes more sense. And then I think what I can do is I can say observable.just reminders. And then that should call, if I'm not mistaken, that'll call on next instead of on complete, which in this case we want to be calling on next. And the end result should be set list of data with that list of reminders. Where is my test class? How did it get over there? I don't remember. Man. Okay. Add new reminder to list view. Is that what I call? I don't think that's what I'm calling in the presenter. Okay, something's not right here. Okay. I'm going to write it to do. So one of the things, the thing that I'm kind of dealing with right now is what I'm trying to work towards is I don't really want the view to have its own, I kind of in a way, I need to have a list of data get passed into the view, obviously, because it needs that data to create the adapter for the recycler view. However, I don't really want the view itself to be responsible for managing or sort of maintaining its own state, its own view model, because what I would like to do is I want the presenter talking to the view model instead. But there's also different complications. For the time being, all I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the entire view get updated every time we add a new recycler or a new reminder. That's almost definitely not the best way of handling it, but I don't want to. The thing is, I kind of need to reevaluate my whole view model situation anyway. So that's why I'm going to kind of leave that there. But that's definitely something to think about anyways. Anyways, I'm just going to take a moment to look at the comments. Awesome. We've got Daryl answering questions and helping people out, which is friggin' awesome, man. Sweet. See, that's what I love. I love seeing developers help each other because we're all awesome people and we should help each other. That makes me very happy. All right, let's keep on trucking. Keep the train wreck moving. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to refactor the test. So instead of saying add new reminder to list view, for the time being, we're just going to say set reminder list data. And instead of passing that in, we're going to say reminders. Let's rerun the test and see if that works. And it passed. Yay. All right, we've got, I think, just one test left to fix, which is on new reminder created unsuccessfully. NPE in that, so obviously we need to make the same changes. So I've created this reminder. I don't think I'm mocking the, it doesn't look like I've mocked the thing at all. So what is this testing though? So we're simulating an error on reminder service dot update reminder. So it should be returning observable dot error. Is that it? Error? Yeah. And then we can just throw a new exception. Let's try that. And boom. All right. One last time, I'm just going to run the whole test suite, and that is okay. 2 are failing. Okay, I did miss 2 of them here. So what's this? On reminder, toggled states match false. So when the desired state of the alarm matches the state in the view model, which I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you listening, but unfortunately I'm not going to explain it. When that is the case, then we just want to update the, we just want to make sure that the user knows what's going on, kind of. So let's run this and see exactly where it's crashing. And again, we're getting the NPE right there. So what? Wait a minute, that doesn't really seem right. I think it's supposed to jump to here. Yeah, this test is not. So the desired state is inactive, but the reminder is inactive. This is a poorly formed test. Man, I'm really kind of running the gamut of testing mistakes here. This is a good workout for my testing skills. So I believe this should say true, and this should say false. Like, isn't that the whole point of this? Yeah, the states match false. Okay, no, this should be false, and this should be false, and this should be inactive, and then this should be true, and that should be active. Does that fix it? Yeah, see, that was a case of just poorly formed tests, not actually poor implementation. And let's just do one more. I believe that's every test in this test suite. Boom. This is what I like to see. Every test, green light. Oh, that feels good, I tell you. A lot of work to get there, but when you finally, I tell you, that feeling when you run like a long-ass test suite and everything shows up as green, oh, it feels good. Okay. So, just checking the comments again for a moment here. All right. So what we're going to do is write some more code. So I've got my two main test suites running or working. So I've got reminder list and reminder detail. Let's look at the alarm receiver presenter test. And this one's probably going to be a little bit tricky. Okay. So again, I'm going to get rid of default name. I don't like having that ambiguous thing there. Alarm state true doesn't really make sense either. And I don't actually know if I've written all the tests that this thing requires or what I've kind of done here. So yeah, we'll just kind of see. So good, we're creating our provider. Have I mocked everything properly? I've got a mock, yeah, we've got a mock view, mock services. That seems to be consistent. And I wonder if it's a similar set of errors that I was dealing with before. It would appear so. All right. So we're calling presenter.subscribe. And subscribe calls get reminder from database. In get reminder from database, we are creating a new reminder. And then we're setting you see, I kind of want to just get the view model again and then make it easier on myself. Okay, did I mock view.getReminderID? Yeah. Yeah, I kind of need to do that. I really don't see any other way. So I'm going to once again refactor this thing a little bit. I hope I don't end up having to come back and change this back, but the problem is I know that I wasn't necessarily, I know that I was making these changes quickly, so I'm a little more open to refactoring right now because I know this is just after I was kind of wrapping my head around actually putting use cases into my presenters. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the contract again, which is alarm receiver contract. And subscribe. Yeah, I'm going to add, I don't really like doing this because I'm kind of just slapping in code to make this work, but I'm going to have to just run with it for now. So let's say, we're going to say reminder, and we're going to say get reminder view model. And then of course I'm going to open up alarm receiver fragment. And I've already got the presenter open, and we're going to come down, we're going to add that method in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say return new reminder with all that what the hell is this shit? Oh, whatever, I won't even look at it. Okay. No, that was reminder list fragment rather. Yeah, and we're going to do this stuff again. Or at least close to it. Okay, alarm receiver. So we're going to say new reminder, except for the ID, it's not going to be get date, it's going to be this dot reminder ID. And the reminder ID is something which is passed in by the activity, so that's why we do need to get that from the fragment. Does the name even matter right now? I don't know if it really does. I almost feel like the issue here is that the use case itself, yeah, this was a limitation that I had to deal with earlier. Well, whatever. For the time being, the title of the reminder doesn't actually matter, but it's one of those things where if it doesn't really matter, why am I bothering to create it? But again, I'm just going to try and keep moving here. So we're going to return that view model. And then in the presenter, why is it? Oh. Okay, cool. All right. And then we're going to we're not going to do this stuff. We're actually going to say reminder equals view.get reminder view model. Then we pass that in. And then what that should allow me to do is now I can create this repeating reminder thing, and then I can mock the method get reminder view model, and then I just pass in repeating reminder here. These are all the same object, so in theory that should make the test pass if it's not still broken. And it works. All right, let's do basically the same thing in this method. So the only difference here is that I want the reminder service to throw an error. But it's the same method, so I think this should work as well. Nope. What did I forget to mock? Get reminder ID. We don't actually call that. Oh, that's probably the issue. Again, we need to pass in repeating reminder instead. Still failing. This time in on error. Oh, log. Yeah, let's get rid of that log. If I have logs in here, I need to delete them. Okay. Cool. All right, boom. Another test done. Let's see, we've got one more. Well, I probably have to write more than that, but yeah. Quick break. All right, we've got a couple people. Daryl mentions an optimization thing. Where was that get message? Was that in the log itself? Yeah. Oh, I see. No, you're absolutely right. That was a fail. All right. Well, I'm just again just going to take a moment break. I'm going to run a quick commercial. If you are currently watching and you would like me if you'd like to help me out, then do me a favor and hit the like button down below. And if you don't feel like doing that, that's totally cool too. Oh, I've got a Twitter notification. Okay. Let's carry on. On alarm dismiss successful. All right, so this is where things get really complicated in this application. There's a lot of different things going on which were hard to sort out because like I've got this thing called alarm service, and really what it is it's just a class which decouples all of these system services that I need to talk to fire alarms, to set alarms, to cancel alarms, to play to play media, to fire the vibrator, all that stuff. So all of this basically, this is why I have this alarm sort of service and also a reminder service. The reminder service stores the data, whereas this thing just manages all of these different system services. And let me tell you, it was a bitch to decouple this stuff from the activities and applications, but I made it happen, and it last I tried it, it works, which is nice. I wasn't actually sure if I was going to be able to decouple this stuff from activities, but I managed to get it working. But the difficulty is in alarm receiver, it's just frustrating because not only do I have to manage the state of the reminder in the database, but I also have to be really, really careful with how things work with this alarm service. And the reason why is that anytime you're messing around with wake locks and media player and all this stuff, you got to really watch what you're doing, particularly wake locks. Like if you mess up your code such that you don't release the CPU wake lock, that is like, let me phrase it like this. If you do that and you ship an app like that, you're an asshole. Anyways, so there's a lot at play here. So let's try and sort this crap out. So let's run this. So let's see. It's saying that I want to be calling finish activity at the end of all of this stuff, which is, why is that a carbon copy? That doesn't seem right. There's no way that that's right. Okay, so I need to think what actually happens when I hit dismiss alarm. So the first thing is I should write to the database. So that would be, I'm assuming, reminder service dot and I think that would just be update reminder. I'll figure out what reminder to pass in a minute. So that's the first thing. So where's dismiss alarm? Okay, on alarm dismiss click. So it's going to run the dismiss alarm use case. So let's pull that up first and figure that out. So dismiss alarm. All right. So this thing, of course, calls dismiss alarm there. I don't really see any issues. Let's just make sure that, yeah, we are mocking that with observable.empty, and it's not expected to return anything, so that should be fine. So it's going to do that, and then the next thing it's going to do is if it successfully something's not, I don't know if this is right. What does dismiss alarm do exactly? It doesn't finish the activity, does it? It just, if I'm correct, okay, so all this does is it does release the wake lock. That's the problem. Because if I release the wake lock, I don't know if I can write to the database after that, which is the fundamental issue at play here. Or do I just deactivate the alarm Yeah, I should write to the database as soon as the alarm goes off, whether the user dismisses it or not. Is that what I do? I think that's what I should be doing. Okay, so what I need to do at this point is I need to just like verbally write out the flow here. So let's say let's do this. Let's make a problem statement. So problem statement. Okay. When an alarm fires, okay, let's think about this. All right, so just so different I would normally do this on pen and paper, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm just going to say details. So, number one, the ID with which we use to retrieve the appropriate reminder in the database comes from activity, no, let's say comes from pending intent extras from the activity. So the first thing is that we're passing, if I'm not mistaken, the first thing we do is we pass that ID somewhere. Yeah, we get the ID, which happens here. So if the ID is null, oops, sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. This is a fairly complicated kind of thing going on here, so. Okay. When an alarm fires, so as soon as it fires, when an alarm fires, it is safe to write the reminder under the with the supplied ID as being inactive. Yeah, that's really the key thing here, is that when an alarm fires, we should write the reminder as being inactive, because it's fired, it's gone off. So I think that's the first thing we need to focus on here. The royal we, I guess. So that's the, so how can I, let's look at our test. Oops. I thought that, so that should have been covered in this test. Yeah, I think I need to just fundamentally restructure my tests in here. So what should happen? All right, let's try and work this into a series of steps here. So let's say first thing, number one, set appropriate reminder. Update appropriate reminder in database to be inactive. So that's the first thing that needs to occur. Once that is done, then we can worry about the rest of the stuff. Yeah, that's the first thing. Update appropriate reminder in database. Start whichever services are necessary to, what do I feel like that as? To see, no, that can't be right. Whatever. Start whichever services are necessary. I'll be a little more specific there, almost for your sake more than mine. Start whichever system services are necessary to sound the alarm. Okay. And we'll call this when component first executes. And then the next thing we'll say is when user dismisses alarm. And in that one, we're going to say, yeah, all we need to do is just deactivate the system services. Deactivate the system services. Release the wake block. Finish the activity. All right, so what I've, for those who are following, what I basically did there is, so there was a point in the program's execution which I wasn't sure about, and especially when I'm tired, I find it really helps to just verbalize the problem and try and just break it down to little steps. And then, so that was the first thing I'll do. Now that I've got like a little list of things I want to do, now I'm going to go into the tests and try and write some better tests. And then the next step is to run the tests and then finally fix the implementation until the tests pass. So is that something you have to do with every class you ever write? Absolutely not. Is that something you might wish to do when you're feeling like you're not able to just hold the entire complex thing in your head all at once? Then you can use TDD to kind of help you. Okay. Oh, that's an extra layer of complexity if it's set to repeat. Okay, so all right. Inactive. Okay, so update the appropriate reminder to be inactive if set repeating alarm is false. So that's a little caveat there. So what I'll do is I'll create a second test to account for that. Okay, so the first test I'm just gonna rewrite this. No, I'm not. Okay. So for the first test, we're going to work with a non-repeating alarm or reminder, non-repeating reminder. So for repeating, which is which one? This one here, we're going to say false. I'm basically going to copy this whole thing and then just say retrieve current alarm repeating. This one will be a repeating reminder, so we will say true there. These are two different test cases that I would like to treat separately, of course, so that's why I'm kind of remaking this. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that it wants to do is when we hit subscribe, it calls get reminder from database, and it gets the view model. So for view model, yeah, we're going to say non-repeating reminder, of course. Let's just go ahead and do that. Get reminder by ID. Why do I need to get the reminder? To check its state. Yeah, I need to get the reminder to see whether or not. Okay, get the reminder and check. Get the reminder so that we know if it needs to repeat or not. So in this case, it's not a repeating alarm, so we definitely need to update it. So knowing that, I'm going to mock that. I'm going to say reminder service.update reminder with non-repeating reminder. And I don't think that is going to return anything. I think that updates don't return reminders, do they? I've already forgotten. Alarm reminder service, reminder source. Yeah, updates don't. Yeah, okay. So that's just going to say observable.empty. Am I looking at the right thing here? Update reminder, yep. Okay, cool. So I've mocked that out. I know that's going to need to be called. And then, all right. Since this tests non-repeating alarms, we must rewrite the reminder. I'm kind of mixing up my own naming here. Since this tests non-repeating reminders, we must rewrite the reminder as inactive after it is retrieved. So that's a really key point. And either way, we're going to want to we're going to want to call start alarm in either case. It's interesting that I'm calling verify there. I'm not sure if that's really the right thing to do, but okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm just going to comment this out. Really? Am I in the... I'm almost like, how can this be running properly? I'm almost. Oh, just simply because I'm calling start alarm. It's just a not a very well formed test. Okay, so. So what I need to do is, let's totally Huh. You see, so the difficulty that I'm dealing with here is there's not really anything I guess the only thing I'm really testing here is whether or not start alarm gets called. Okay, so I think this is actually okay. I think that's probably the only reasonable thing I can do. I can verify. The problem is just that my test is a little bit, what's the opposite of flaky? It's a little bit too general, I think, but off the top of my head, I don't see a solution to that right away. Just a quick break here. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna shut up and write some code, and let's just fix this thing. Is basically what I'm trying to say here. So we're saying run use case. We get a reminder, and then the first thing I want to do is check and see if that reminder is. I'm gonna say check reminder state. Let's make a whole new method. I'm gonna pass reminder in there. I'm gonna hit Alt Enter, create method in alarm presenter, check reminder state. Oops. And we're gonna say checks whether the reminder should be written as inactive or left alone based on reminder dot what is the thing that I'm checking? Reminder dot is active? No, is renew automatically. Is renew automatically. So if it renews automatically, I don't actually want to set it as inactive because it's supposed to stay active. So that's really the whole point of this little method. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if reminder dot is active, no, is renew automatically. I can tell I'm getting a little bit tired here. Is renew automatically. Then we're going to say, what are we going to say? If it is renew automatically, we're just going to start the alarm. We don't need to write anything. We don't really need to do anything like that. So I'm going to call start alarm, pass the reminder in. Else, in this case, what we need to do first is we need to create probably a whole new method, which will be update reminder, which I'm just going to copy that from reminder or detail presenter. Where's my update? Now I'm a little scared. Let's go to reminder source again. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm a little bit confused by my own naming, but I don't think it's actually an issue, so. Shouldn't this thing have that use case? That should not say get reminder reminder. Fuck off. That's annoying. Just love it when it does that. Okay, whatever. So if that's the case, if the reminder state is not renew automatically, then we slap this code in here and we say update or create reminder. I, of course, need to... I don't think that gets used, nor should it. Maybe it should. I don't know. Okay, private. Let's just add that use case in. So that's going to be update or create reminder. And then we say this.update or create reminder equals, what does it equal? New. And that's going to require the reminder service. Okay. This is why, like, I'm really, really enjoying writing things in clean architecture because it's pretty damn straightforward. You just get the use cases you want and you run them. Like, it's doesn't take rocket appliances to figure it out. All right. Yeah, let's just delete that. I will keep that part. Okay, great. So we update the reminder. We run the use case. It should just call... I'm hoping that it's just going to call onComplete. And when it calls onComplete, that's when I want it to say start alarm with reminder. What the hell? There we go. Don't know what the hell it was doing before. Start alarm with reminder. And hey, it automatically made it final. Thank you. Okay, so the important thing is that in either case, the end result is that we're calling start alarm. In this case, we mark it as inactive, which I haven't actually done. So I think I need to say reminder dot set active false. Okay. I'm glad I remembered to add that in because that probably would have caused some issues. All right. Cool. And then we hop into start alarm. Alarm deleted. Why would I say alarm deleted when the alarm is started? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let's look at our tests again. Too many invocations. Okay. Okay, so it wanted to call retrieve current alarm. Okay, let me just make sure that I've mocked all of these things, and I suspect that's the issue. So first things first, which use cases are involved in this? So the first use case is get reminder, which uses reminder. Get reminder by ID is the first one. We're calling update reminder as well, and we're calling start alarm. So I don't think that's the issue. It's telling me that start alarm is being called twice, I think. So That's probably the issue. Oh, that's the issue. Like I'm saying, yeah, that was the problem. Okay. Okay, that's passing. Good. Let's get this other one testing. Then I think I'm gonna call it a day for at least for working on Pos Trainer. But hey, you know, if I can get a whole bunch of tests working in an hour or two, that's a good friggin' use of my time in my books. So cool. So that one's working. Now for this one, it is a repeating alarm, so we shouldn't be calling update. We shouldn't be updating the reminder. It should be left alone. Yeah, I think that's safe to say. And we should still be calling repeating reminder. So it should check the reminder and be like, okay, it is set to repeating. And so this should pass, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. Then, of course, we've got when things just don't work at all, which would be, yep, we throw this error. And in that case, I basically just, see, I almost don't even know what to do here, because if we don't succeed in retrieving the alarm, that sucks. Like, I'm not even sure if this is, there's not really anything I can do even if this error occurs. I can cancel everything, I guess, would probably be the best way of solving this problem. So if on error fires and we don't succeed a reminder based on the reminder ID that's given, I think the only thing left to do is to, so you can't even really, I think I have to just finish the activity. I don't know. I don't really know what else to do at this point. I think in this case, I'm just, yeah, I'm going to say database connection failure, and then I'm just going to say view.finish activity. I won't bother acquiring a wake lock or anything because that's just going to get ugly if I do that. So let's just, yeah. So that was a case where I was kind of writing the implementation before the test, but oh well. Sometimes it happens. So verify view dot finish activity and verify view dot make toast r dot string dot error database connection failure, I think. Was that it? Yeah. All right. Just about done. Let me check the comments really quickly here. All right. Cool. So, and this is the last thing we need to I'm going to worry about today. So that's when the user dismisses alarms. So in that particular case, what are we going to do here? What do we do? So I don't need to worry about reminder service anymore, which is really nice. That's taken care of. All we need to do is just dismiss the goddamn alarm. Alarm service.dismiss alarm. Yeah. So we mock that. Does that work? Nope. We didn't actually finish the thing. On alarm dismiss click. Okay, yeah, so that's the issue. I just haven't written the implementation. So when the alarm gets dismissed, all we do is just call view.finishActivity. Dismiss alarm, if I'm not mistaken, shuts down, it releases the wake lock, it shuts everything down, and that's all we really need to worry about doing there. So does that work? Okay, sweet. And I've got this little thing down here, but honestly, if dismissing the alarm fails, I'm basically screwed anyway, so I don't even really need to test that. Like, I don't know if that's even possible for that to happen, but I think the scenarios where that's likely to happen are scenarios that I almost shouldn't even be expected to handle. Okay. Well, that's basically it. We are just under 2 hours. And that was about 2 hours of me working on Post Trainer and getting it to work. I think what I'll do finally is let's try and test the app a little bit. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'll do one quick test. As usual, when I fire up the emulator and launch stuff, it's going to lag a little bit, but let's have a quick look and see how we're doing with this application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the production debug version. Okay. I'm going to fire up the emulator, and that's really going to make things lag, so just bear with that. Okay. And so sometimes when I run the emulator, it totally crashes the stream. I'm gonna be honest, if the stream does crash, I'm not gonna restart it. There's just no point. But fingers crossed. Let's see if I can run this application and give you guys and girls a demo. Okay, and with any luck, it is not lagging. I see I have a little UI error to fix. That's not good, but let's just use some of the basic functionality and I'll see if I can get this thing to crash. So let's delete an alarm. Okay. Try creating a new one. Oh yeah, that looks really horrible. API 21 styles need some love and attention. For this alarm, we are going to call it, let's see, it's 2:11 according to this thing's clock, which actually is the time right now. So we're going to call this quitting time. And and I'm not going to have it renew automatically. I want to see if it deactivates itself. I will have it vibrate only. And let's go ahead and say, wow, I need to fix that. Okay, let's try and do this. Let's try 213. Okay, it updated. Let's activate it. All right, I'm gonna just hit the power button, and let's wait a couple minutes and see if this thing goes off. In the meantime, I will pull up the chat. Nothing yet. Sorry, sometimes I forget that I'm wearing a microphone. All right, well, unfortunately, one of the things about one of the issues with running the emulator is that, come on, brain, you can do this. So one of the things about running the emulator is that the wake lock doesn't necessarily fire on time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day for today because I'm bloody tired. Actually, well, let me deploy it to my phone and we'll just see if I can get it running that way. This thing's still saying that my video output is super low, but I'd like to end this video on some kind of a... Yeah, I would appreciate it if you could stop running the app when I hit the big red stop button. Thank you. Sorry, I'm getting a little pissy with my IDE here. Okay. Well, it's still saying video output low, but what I'm going to do, let me deploy this thing to my phone, and I'll see if I can get it working there, and that'll be it for today. Okay. All right, I'm not even sure if y'all can see me, but so here's the application. Just deployed it. I know you can't see this super well, but let's just try and do this. So I'm going to hit the plus. We're going to call this one, again, quitting time. Oh, God, I'm pale. This is me after, like, tanning for a couple weeks. All right, and we are going, so this is what it looks like on API 23, which is a lot nicer than the API 21, which I need to fix. And then what we'll do is let's do 220. Cool. So the current time is 2:18. I've set the alarm to be active for 2:20. I'm going to shut the phone off, leave it in front of me, and we'll see if it goes off. And if it does, in 3 minutes, I'll give it 3 minutes to go off. And either way, I'm calling it a day after 3 minutes. But yeah, that session went quite well, surprisingly. It doesn't always. Actually, you know what I think I'll do? Oops. I think what I'll do is, no, should I do it? I don't know. No, I'm not going to do it. I'll do that later. I was going to give a shout out, which has to do with the shirt that I'm wearing, but it's a fairly tasteless tank top. So I think I'll save that for a day when I'm more into irritating people. Anyways, 1 minute. Like, if anyone has joined the stream right now, they're probably wondering, like, so what does this guy just, like, sit there with the webcam on? Like, what kind of programming thing is this? And so that's pretty funny. I don't think I'll bother explaining what I'm doing if anyone has, unfortunately, just joined me. You're on your own. You might know in a couple minutes, about a minute. So that was when I set the alarm for. We'll see if it goes off in my hand. It might not. The thing about wake locks now, to give you some practical information, is that they aren't actually exact anymore, because it turns out that polling the device for the system time constantly actually takes up quite a bit of battery. So even though I set the alarm for exactly 2:20, it won't necessarily go off exactly at 2:20. So I'm going to give this 1 more minute to go off, and that'll be it. But it would be really cool if it does. It would make my day even more. It's been a good day. It's been a very productive day. I actually got up at 5:30 this morning, and the first thing I did was went for a jog, which is pretty uncharacteristic for me because... Oh, look at that, it works! And that makes it all worth it. Oh, Hey, not bad. It created an extra record in the database, a duplicate, but that duplicate did get deactivated. So that's almost where it needs to be. So that's all for now. I'm glad that actually worked out. Thanks for watching and peace out.